Hey guys, it's Di and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do an introductory video talking a little bit about my journey with KonMari and what stuck after doing KonMari about 4 years ago, and what I've continued to do and what I maybe changed and have not continued to do. So a little bit about my KonMari journey. If you're new to my channel, I did the KonMari process about 4 years ago, and I'm getting ready to dive back in and go through my closet and do a reorganization, which is why we're sitting here today, because this is one big area where I can do a lot of clearing out and finding the things that really spark joy. But I really enjoyed doing the KonMari method because it really made me consider every single item that I had in the house and really consider the main areas where I could par down items, find the items that were sparking joy and just keep those, and then letting go of the items that did not spark joy or didn't really need anymore. And so that kind of language really kind of resonated with me, and it really helped me get rid of a lot of stuff that I didn't need to keep. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that we've moved a number of times. When I originally did KonMari, we were in Illinois, and then we moved back to Michigan, and then from Michigan we now have moved to Alabama. So we've had a number of moves in there, and the KonMari process definitely helped narrow down what we were moving around, making sure the items that I kept personally for me sparked joy, and also that they were items that I was using. So now that we've been down here for a little while, we came down here to kind of change our lives a little bit. Definitely was a big move for my husband and really centered around him being able to have more family time and just a job that was a lot less stressful. When he was in Michigan and Illinois, he was in the OEM industry, and so if you have anyone in your family that works for the automotive OEMs, you know it can be kind of a stressful industry to work in. And so now he's kind of in an industry adjacent. He's in power sports and motorsports, and so it really gives him the opportunity to work in an industry that's something that he really enjoys, but not quite as stressful as OEMs. So it was a really good move from that aspect. For me, it's really kind of taken a while to get settled in and kind of find my groove. I feel like I'm getting there, but I feel like I need to go through this process again to really find the items that spark joy, to really surround myself with intentional and meaningful items, and really kind of almost just kind of reset everything and clean the slate and move forwards, which I really feel like I need for 2021 in general. So I'll link my KonMari videos from the past down below. You'll notice that they're in a completely different house, and a lot of the items are completely different, but I want to go through everything with intentionality, find the things that spark joy, and the closet is going to be one of the big areas that we're going to go through. My clothing has changed a lot. We've changed climates, so a lot of this clothing has been purchased over the past few years. I still need sweaters and things like that. I have professional gear behind me. Now that I can go through for what sparks joy, but like a lot of people that may be watching and in somewhat of a unique position, that we're working from home right now. So I can't really like go get rid of all my professional pants and then 2 months from now we go back to work in the office and I need all my professional gear again. So I really have to think about the items, whether they spark joy, whether they work for me now, and what type of situation, you know, even like 6 months ahead, are they going to work in. So for my professional clothing, I need to keep my favorites and the items that spark joy in the professional category. I also am a Disney enthusiast, and we go to Disney usually a few times a year. So I have items, Disney bounding items, that I may not wear for a large portion of the year, but during our Disney vacations and those spurts of trips, they bring me a lot of joy. So I also have that segment and category that I allow for as well. But just the general day-to-day items, you know, I want to go through, kind of really par it down, make sure I'm keeping it to my favorites for items that are the best quality, items that work really well for me, and items that I can continually reach for. So I really want to do that here in my closet. I also need to go through my shoes. I love shoes and I love accessories and I love handbags. We're going to tackle the handbags separately, but we're going to go through those too. But shoes I really like, and so I need to go through my shoes though, because I've run into a situation where my feet have kind of changed as I've gotten older, and a lot of shoes that may have worked for me a few years ago no longer work for me. So I'm going to be going through my shoes for that reason, and then also just keeping the best of the best. I also want to go through all my jewelry. I love costume jewelry. I'm a bit of a collector. So that's the interesting thing about KonMari, is I don't really necessarily see myself being a minimalist in the end. In fact, I have a whole video about that, which I can link down below too. But it really kind of brings you to a point where you're being more intentional and you have more intentional items around you. So I definitely need to get back to a point where I'm doing that. The one thing I will say that has not changed, that KonMari really helped, is it made me more intentional when I was buying things. So I expect this round of KonMari to be a little bit more difficult, because when I buy things now, I really consider how much it sparks joy and how much I'm going to love using it. So like what I'm wearing right now is a great example. Like, I love these Old Navy tank tops. I wear them a ton underneath tons of things. And also I love animal prints, so this cardigan was very intentional. And also this Kendra Scott necklace, I've gotten tons and tons of use out of it. I love it. It just really kind of fits with my style and goes with a ton of outfits. So I feel like an outfit like what I'm wearing right now is definitely kind of like my uniform, if you want to call it that, of what I reach for in my day-to-day life and really kind of go for to be comfortable and to be versatile. It works for a professional Zoom, but it also works to go out and do mom errands. So that's really the kinds of things that I reach for in my closet. Another interesting thing that I did keep and didn't change is that I kept the KonMari folding for socks and underwear. This is one of the last things that I tried to do, and I was really resistant to it at first because I used to just kind of lay everything flat, and I was kind of like, well, it's kind of dumb to have this extra step of like folding your underwear. Like, who wants to do this? And once I tried it, I actually really loved it. I travel with my items like folded up that way because it takes up less space, it's easier to see everything, and I keep everything folded in the drawers that way here behind me as well. So that's been a really interesting thing that stuck around because I held on to that forever. And that was like one of the last things that I did in my whole KonMari process. I did that out of order. Another thing that stuck after doing the KonMari process is I buy a lot less books. So when I buy a book, it's because it really resonates with me. I do a lot more e-reading just to not have physical items sitting around. And once I'm done reading a book, a lot of times I will just pass it on and let someone else use it. So I don't really have like books of, you know, bookshelves full of books, or DVDs is another thing I really got rid of. We've gone digital on a lot of that. So it's a lot less clutter, it's a lot less things sitting around, it's a lot less stuff to have to move around as well. Some of the things that I was not so good on, so obviously I still have a lot of clothes. I've always had a lot of clothes. I feel like I'm always one of those people that has like a lot of stuff and nothing to wear all at the same time. So I do think that the KonMari process really helps me zero in on what I love the most, what brings me joy, and what works the best, which is why I need to do this again. So I need to reel the clothes back in. I also really love makeup. I'm a Sephora shopper. I'm a Rouge, you know, like Rouge VIP member or whatever it's called. And I really love great makeup. And I put on makeup every single day, even when I'm not doing videos, or even if I didn't have work meetings, I would put on my makeup every single day. And so I also have a hard time like letting go of old makeup, but obviously that's really bad. So I want to go through all of my makeup, clear out the things that are old and need to get gotten rid of, and really be intentional about what I'm keeping and what's just sitting around. The other things that I want to go through, I touched a little bit on my handbags. I'm a collector. I love collecting, so it's always a fine line for me of being intentional with the things around me and being able to have collections that spark joy. For my handbags, you know, it is something that's been a hobby and has sparked joy for a really long time. Actually, I have a whole channel on YouTube that has been centered around handbags for a number of years. And so it's kind of an interesting aspect to this whole thing, because what do collectors do when they do KonMari? Because things spark joy. But it's all about finding that happy medium of not over you know, kind of having an overabundance of items, really narrowing it down to those key pieces. And that's definitely what I need to do with my handbags. So we're going to be going through my handbags as well. I have a number of bags that just for whatever reason, they've fallen out of favor. They're not joy sparkers anymore, and they just need to get donated or otherwise, you know, go back out into the world so they can go live a life and benefit someone else. So we're going to go through all of those and find that as well. I'm also going to be doing an office organization because I'm in my office so much. I really want to reorganize the area. I actually just ordered a bookcase, like etagere open bookcase, for both decorative and storage purposes. So I'll be sharing my office as I kind of go through that redecoration and reorganization. It's really just to kind of better utilize the space. We have really, really tall ceilings in this house, and so I really need to use the vertical space more. And so it's a taller bookcase where I can utilize the up and down space a little bit better. And since we're home so much right now, we're working from home, we're doing school from home, we really want to make our home space as functional as possible. So I'm going to be working on that in my office and just making sure the things there also spark joy. I have a lot of just cute notepads and extra pens and things like that that end up getting collected in bins that I really don't need to hang on to. So those sorts of things will get cleared out as well. So I'm going to be doing probably about 1 or 2 KonMari videos per week. I anticipate I'll probably be doing it at least January and February, possibly through March, this beginning part of the year, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I really want to be kind of more intentional with the items that we're keeping around us, and even just with simple things like we just recently got a robot vacuum, which sounds like kind of a random out of the box type of thing, but it's been really nice to like always feel like that's being upkept and feel like, you know, we have a little robot vacuum going around. It's doing its job. It's being very intentional. It's got its place in the corner, and the house just feels like fresher. And it was like, oh, this is great. And so we've got this little robot zipping around like every single day now. And it's like, well, I want all the rooms to feel like that fresh, like kind of open feeling. And I think KonMari and just organizing is going to help do that. So let me know if you have any questions down below. I will link some of my previous KonMari series down below and some of the videos that I mentioned. So I have gone through this process a number of different times, but I'll be sharing the process as I go along and how things change, what I get rid of, what I keep, and we'll see what the journey looks like and what it turns out like in the end. So thanks for watching today, and have a great day.